The major change I'd like to see is the number of veteran suicides go down.
So why surfing as a means of leaning into some of the therapeutic benefits?
As veterans, we are taught to fight through everything and win every battle and conquer every enemy, if you will. And surfing, one really cool thing to see when people come out to the surf is regardless of the condition you're in, no matter how much weight you can lift off the ground and put back down, you'll never be stronger than the ocean. You'll never be stronger than nature. And I think it teaches us to harmonize with our environment and try to find peace in it instead of trying to fight a battle we cannot win. So surfing allows us to go into the most powerful physical force known to man here on Earth and work with it to create something beautiful, this feeling, this movement, this exercise, and just stop trying to fight everything. I think that's probably the most important aspect of the surf.
Welcome, changemakers, to Voices of Impact, where we burst through the bubbles of indifference and shine a light on the pressing issues shaping our world. I'm your host, Audrina, and each week we bring you inspiring stories from the front lines of change. We'll meet the incredible founders of nonprofits who are tirelessly working to solve the challenges that matter most. Through their voices, we awaken to the realities around us, inspire social responsibility, and empower you to take action, whether it's by volunteering, donating, or simply spreading the word. Together, let's build a more compassionate and engaged world. Tune in and be part of the change. It starts right now. Hello, everybody. Thank you for listening to Voices of Impact. Today, I am with Josh, who is the Chief Surf Instructor for Warrior Surf Foundation. Josh, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks so much for having me, Audrina. I'm really excited and very grateful to talk to you today and be able to spread the word on what we do with the foundation.
Likewise. So to kick us off, I've got 3 questions for you. Who are you? What's your mission? And then why should people keep listening?
Start off, I'm just a regular guy. I'm a veteran of the U.S. Army. I was in the Airborne Infantry, so spent a lot of time traveling throughout different countries, jumping out of airplanes and having fun. Now I'm pretty settled at home. I've got a wife and 3 kids that I spend a lot of my time with. And outside of that, I do my job at the foundation. I'm mostly in charge of the day-to-day operations and scheduling surf sessions with either brand new participants or alumni who have been with the program for years that want to just continue honing in their surfing skills. Our mission is to generally enhance the lives of veterans through therapy and nature. So we offer the surfing, which is the main focus, but beyond that, we have the yoga and wellness. So we try to involve the mind, body, and spirit and heal all of those things through the traumas of the military and even other parts of life as well. People should keep listening because I'm not sure if everyone understands what kind of sacrifice it is to sign the dotted line and give yourself to the military. There are plenty of jobs in the military that don't involve combat. Most of them do. And people are ready every single day to give their lives and their livelihood for people back home. And those people, now that they're home, they deserve a second shot at life. And the more support we have and the more people who listen and become active in this community, the more veterans we can serve and help them change their lives and the lives of their families.
That was beautifully said. And I just want to say thank you to you for your services as well, spending that time within the Airborne Infantry. I think that this will be somewhat straightforward, but I would love to know what personal experiences or challenges led you to really become passionate about what it is that you guys are doing.
There's a lot of experiences, through life that lead you to want to help. My military experience was, I'll say, a little different. Everyone has a different experience, obviously, but I went through 4 years of non-combat experience in a job that was specifically based around it. And when I left my position with the military, we use this reference as we were kind of like dogs that were left on a leash. We were trained to fight and trained to do all these things, and when we didn't get to go do it, it leaves you feeling sort of empty and almost envious of the people that did, which doesn't really make sense because no one wants to go experience something really nasty.
Right.
So for the years after the military, before I found this community, I was walking around really angry and wasn't really sure how to address it. And it was mostly because I didn't have anyone to talk to, anyone to share my experience with, anyone to share my feelings with about the things that did happen in the military or didn't. And once I found this community and found a group of people, men and women, who have experienced real hardship and have had to endure really tough times, opening up and having real conversation and finding vulnerability with one another, it opened me up to an entirely new perspective on life and how I'm allowed to be as a person, as a man, as a veteran. And I feel that when you receive, that you should give. And I received so much from this community and this organization that I felt I had to give back.
When you say about like the vulnerability aspect of it, I know that that is something that I think traditionally has been a little bit taboo in the military space. Has that changed? Did you see that change? Would you say that it's still taboo and it's something that you have to kind of learn once you get out of it?
It's absolutely taboo, unfortunately. It's a really sad thing. There are moments in life where we'll say it is necessary to push feelings down in order to continue the mission, if you where you don't have time to feel because something is so engaging in the moment that if you are distracted, someone around you could get hurt,
Right.
and it doesn't make sense to feel. But then moving forward, no one tells you that it's okay to then address something, work through it, and process. So it is unfortunately still a big issue with the military, I think. And that's one of the great things about our community. As I mentioned, the vulnerability aspect. People show up and they still have this military mindset. They bring a lot of their old selves into a new space. And within the first 2 or 3 sessions, you'll see people kind of break down and feel okay to share something with you. And it looks like they've shed thousands of pounds off their shoulders because they're able to feel something and not be judged for it.
Yeah, that has to be probably one of the most rewarding things to experience too, especially knowing the impact that it can make on an individual when they finally feel heard and seen and understood, and knowing that they're in a space where it's okay to share those things and to be who they are. And I guess like explain their lived experiences to people who completely understand and get it and are not going to hold judgment or anything like that. That has to be just so rewarding to encounter.
Absolutely. It's what keeps us all coming back. It's what keeps our volunteers in place and keeps our staff in place. And we have people who week 1 of the program out of 12 weeks are like, hey, how can I volunteer? I'm like, wow,
That's cool.
Thank you so much for, the ambition, but receive, what we have to offer right now. And once you complete this program, you'll have more of an idea of what we do. And then you can give back at the end if you'd like. And I'd say 95% of people do. And that
That's
other 5%,
incredible.
not because they don't want to, but it's because, work gets in the way, life gets in the way, or maybe they've traveled to do our program and they have to head back. But it's incredibly rewarding to see change in people and know that you're a part of it.
That's how you know that you guys are doing something right. If majority of the people who are going through your programs are like, I want to get involved, I want to volunteer, I want to be able to help or support you guys in any way possible, that just reaffirms that everything that you guys are doing is having such a huge impact on the individuals' lives that you're working with on a regular basis, which is absolutely incredible. What are some of the programs that you guys have? Let's talk through a little bit of that.
So our program, it's one 12-week program. And what's really cool is we used to only be open to veterans and active duty members, but now we're open to entire family, which has been a really, really amazing shift. When you allow one veteran to go through the program, you see progress with them, but you don't see what happens at home. You know what I mean? You don't get to see how they take it forward and what they do with it. And at this point, when we have spouses coming out and kids coming to serve, you get to watch a different shift in a veteran, not just them changing, but them changing with their family and their family getting to see them in a new space, feeling good, sharing something new with them, which creates an entirely new bonding experience. So we offer the surfing, which throughout the 12-week program, we require 10 sessions, which is definitely enough to get you proficient and ready to move forward into the intermediate advanced level. We offer yoga, which is absolutely paramount to the surfing as far as mobility goes, which is something that struggle with due to some injury. I don't know anyone who's left the military without some sort of injury, whether carrying heavy loads or shooting so much over time or jumping out of planes. And then the last aspect of our program is the wellness, which all of our participants go through 8 wellness sessions that are an hour long, 2 of which are with the whole group or their cohort that they started our camp with. And the other 6 are done one-on-one with a state certified therapist that work for our program. So they get fantastic new set of tools to embrace life with moving forward.
So you guys really have a holistic approach, and I love the fact that you are bringing the family into it, because I also think that it would make such a big impact to have your family understand the things that you've been through and understand maybe some of the techniques that they're learning from you guys too, and how they're wanting to show up. And then the family is not, if they're not involved, they would be completely disconnected to what's going on and some of the things that they're working on and learning and maneuvering through. So I think blending the two of those together is just going to even further the success rate of the individuals who are participating in the program too.
Certainly. It's a really beautiful thing to watch. And I've been with the foundation for about 4 years now. And a lot of these changes are relatively new, where we have spouses actually go through the whole program and experience all for themselves. So in the event that someone's going through after their partner, they get to see, wow, like, I see where this change came from in you, and I appreciate you enduring this 12 weeks of therapy, which a lot of people are afraid of. It's also a very taboo thing in the military. As soon as you need mental health help, you're deemed a liability, and maybe they don't let you do your job anymore. As well as when families get to see not just their veteran, but other veterans, it gives them more of a look inside the life of veterans in general, not just their partner, because they may be thinking, wow, I don't know what my person has experienced, but maybe they're not getting through something in the time that I think they should. And maybe there's not judgment, but just a lack of understanding. So when families come out and they get to see everyone experience the same thing, it's easier to get how hard it is to recover, and also easier to see what an incredible job these veterans are doing at showing up for themselves to show up better for others.
How would you say that the work you're doing has impacted who you are today? So the last 4 years of being really involved with Warrior Surf Foundation, how has that changed and impacted who you are today?
It's allowed me to see, well, life just in generally new ways. I started out as a volunteer with the program, teaching surf here and there when they needed extra people, and then got brought on as a paid surf instructor. I've taught yoga for the foundation. I've done wellness for the foundation, ultimately to come into the position I'm in now, where I'm day-to-day active in all the operations. And through that time, it's allowed me to see the real impact of every aspect of our program, not just what surfing does, but what wellness does for people, and what a one-on-one connection with someone who's experienced similar things can do, and what yoga can do for people physically and spiritually. Meditation, mentally. It's allowed me to kind of take a step back and go, wow, like, everyone really does experience something that's really hard. And it's allowed me to see the true meaning of community and how necessary it is. Because I did not used to have that feeling. The only camaraderie I ever experienced was in the military. And as soon as I was let go from that, you're forgotten and no one reaches out to make sure you're okay anymore. And I thought that was just how life had to be.
Yeah.
So finding group of people that care and check in when they don't see you on an open surf Saturday. They go, hey, like, I noticed you weren't out there. What's going on? So mostly the changes I've seen are more empathy and more understanding. And I wish I could have my wife on here to talk about the changes she's seen, because again, I think spouses see the most change in us with our interactions with them at home and with our kids.
Yeah, I'm sure it, for somebody who has experienced you prior to and then going through it and then getting as involved as you have, to see that evolution of you has got to be so cool, because you can't work in that space and not have it make an impact. And I think that that's one of the coolest things, especially for our change makers. Like, if you have a cause that you're passionate about and you go spend the time to actually get involved in it and then see firsthand the difference that it's making, guaranteed it changes you for the better. Like, hands down, no questions about it. It will change you for the better. And I think that that is really cool. Like, hearing your journey through it, of like starting off like this, and then I gradually worked my way up, and now you're fully invested and involved in the community that you guys have created, is very cool.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a very important thing to be able to go through this journey and then see what it does, so you can actually explain to people while they're coming through what it can do.
Let me ask this question, because I think that typically you hear of therapy, like there's equine therapy and there's traditional therapy. So why surfing as a means of leaning into some of the therapeutic benefits?
Great question, and thank you for asking. I think nature-based therapy in general it's up and coming. It's more important than ever. And there are all kinds. Equine therapy is deeply important because one, you're in nature, and two, you're involved with another living being, especially horses. You have a deep connection with them for trust. Surfing, on the other hand, is, as veterans, we are taught to fight through everything and win every battle and conquer every enemy, if you will. And one really cool thing to see when people come out to the surf is, regardless of the condition you're in, no matter how much weight you can lift off the ground and put back down, you'll never be stronger than the ocean. You'll never be stronger than nature. And I think it teaches us to harmonize with our environment and try to find peace in it instead of trying to fight a battle we cannot win. So surfing allows us to go into the most powerful physical force known to man here on Earth and work with it to create something beautiful, this feeling, this movement, this exercise, and just stop trying to fight everything. I think that's probably the most important aspect of the surf.
Absolutely. And you brought up some really great points there about, like, you have to learn that you can't win every single battle. And that's a huge mindset shift, like you said, from how you guys are trained in the military. So then to come out and kind of surrender to what is a huge lesson, I think, in being able to navigate through different life situations too, in a way that you wouldn't have traditionally done before. Is there a particular story or person that you've come across through, I'm going to say, like, specifically through teaching surfing, that really stood out to you, changed you, made an impact on you?
What a tough question to answer. I've worked with hundreds of veterans, and they all have such tenacity. Like they don't give up, and they all have a reason for being here, right? I think one person who stands out, he started the program before I ever came around. He was one of the originals to ever go through. But he's someone that everyone in our community looks up to very deeply and genuinely. His name's Harold Veranda. Harold turned 60 this year. He is the most genuine, kind, kind of father figure within our community, who everyone goes to for things. If you need help working on your car, fixing something or building something, he's always willing to give his time. He shows up for us constantly. He has volunteered for us for years. I don't have any one particular story in mind because there's just so many about this guy who has experienced so much in his life, and it does not have the slightest chip on his shoulder about it. He just continues to move forward and give back. I'd like to just shout out to him for just being the guy that he is for us.
That's beautiful. And I love the tenacity piece. I think that whether or not it's, like you said, you have so many stories and it's too hard to pick one, but that recurring theme of the tenacity that's shown up throughout the members who are out there and showing up for themselves and working through things that they might not have previously done, I think is really cool to experience firsthand. What volunteer opportunities do you guys have for our change makers? And also, I don't think we mentioned it at the beginning. Mention your location, and then we'll talk about the volunteer opportunities that might be available to anybody who's near you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're located at 301 West Ashley Avenue, Folly Beach, South Carolina. We don't have an office. The beach is our office. So there's a bathhouse area and a big parking lot that we meet at every Saturday. That's mostly where we need volunteers. People can go to warriorsurf.org in order to seek out those volunteer opportunities with us. And we have open slots every weekend for volunteer surf instructors, people to help with equipment setup, to show new participants kind of the ropes of how things operate. If we get really busy, say in July, we've got 4 camps overlapping, 60 people in the water, a lot of moving parts between people, and these volunteers are able to come out and help guide these new people and make them feel comfortable and welcomed into the community. One thing that people struggle with, I know in the military, and everyone can relate to this, is when you leave your unit and you show up to a new one, nobody knows who you are. They have no idea what kind of experiences you've had, how tough you are, what kind of things you've done. Being the new person is really hard. When people show up to our program, they still have a similar feeling of like, oh my gosh, I'm new. I'm ignorant to everything you guys do. I have no idea what's happening here. And a lot of our volunteers just kind of bring people in with open arms and open minds and say, hey, it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter what you've done. It doesn't matter how hard it was or how easy it was. You're here in this space because you did this thing. You volunteered your time and your life. Come on in and welcome to the community.
Amazing. And for those people who are not local to you guys, how could they take action within their own communities to support veterans or active duty?
In their own communities, I mean, there are as you mentioned, there are a lot of different nonprofits and all kinds of therapy, holistic or not. I'd say if you don't live in our area, we actually have a lot of people that travel for our program. So if you are a veteran out there and you are looking for something that's going to benefit your life, make your way to Folly Beach for a few weeks. There are people here that offer their spaces, short term for people to come stay. We've had people move here just to do this program and not go back home because they found something in it. Or they go back home and they move their whole family up here because of this community. But if you're not able to get involved here at Warrior Surf, veterans deserve a second look. They deserve a second chance. And whatever people can do from wherever they are to support, do it. I don't know what it looks like in every city or every state, but there is absolutely a veteran community that could work. What better group of people to support than those who gave almost everything?
Yeah. And I think it could be as easy as just researching veteran nonprofits that are local to you too. So that'll give you guys a place to start if you are realizing that you are wanting to get involved in this capacity. I would start there if you're unaware of what could even be going on around you within your community. For our listeners who might want to support financially, what does a donation to your organization help achieve?
Thank you very much for that question. This is probably the hardest part of this job. Is we need funding, and when people donate, not time but money when they can, it is deeply appreciated because for every dollar that comes in, we can help somebody. We take funds and put it toward new equipment. The more surfboards we have, the more people we can have out in one day and show this huge community of again, these vulnerable folks who are looking to share with others. It goes toward paying staff in some cases where we are all able to do what we do in the capacity that we do it because we're able to make somewhat of a living on it. If we all had 40-hour-a-week full-time jobs, we could only do this on Saturday, and the percentage of people we could help would drop drastically. The funding goes where it needs to. It goes back to helping these veterans and helping grow our program. So maybe eventually we'll be able to even branch out and start chapters elsewhere and serve more people who can't make it to us, but we can come to them.
If you could see one major change in the world as a result of your work, what would it be?
The major change I'd like to see is the number of veteran suicides go down. It's been steady at 22 plus a day, a long time now. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of support across all the systems in the same way. And so, for a major impact, what we're looking for is to show people the light, say, hey, it's not the end. There is something that can help. This might be it. It might not. This may just be a stepping stone to understanding that you can get better. And maybe from here, you go do equine therapy or you go do golf therapy or opens you up to talk therapy. But the ultimate goal is to, at some point, drop this rate down to zero, where veterans understand that's not even an option to take their lives, but to find something to live for.
Absolutely. And something that is so crucial to being done, because like you said, these are some of the most, I would say, selfless beings, being willing literally to risk their lives for the country. They deserve to find a community that loves and supports them, and for all of us really to be able to uplift them, because a lot of them have been through some horrendous things that I will never understand the weight of that. I can understand it in conceptually, but I'll never understand the weight of actually carrying some of those things that the veterans are carrying with them on a day-to-day basis. So I think it's an incredibly important community to uplift and to support as our way of saying thank you, as the ones who are not serving, to be able to step in and say, we see you, we appreciate you, and thank you so much. So absolutely love the work that you're doing. If you could inspire our change makers to take one action today that would make a difference, what would it be?
Get involved in any way possible. I know not everyone has the time to physically show up somewhere. Not everyone has the money, but we can all listen. We're all capable of talking to people, sharing experiences, hearing experiences, and finding community. So if there's any one thing I'd like to inspire people to do, is just start a dialogue, talk to a veteran, ask them how they're doing, welcome them home. And whether you appreciate the service or not, just appreciate another human being for a sacrifice.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Tell everybody where they can find you guys and support your mission.
Online, we can be found at warriorsurf.org. Quickest way to either donate or get involved with volunteering. We also have social media, Facebook and Instagram, Warrior Surf Foundation, pretty easy. Our PR people they update that stuff constantly. So they put out all the events we have, anything we need potential donations for whenever we do our big charity events. So yeah, warriorsurf.org, or as I said, 301 West Ashley Avenue, Folly Beach, South Carolina.
Thank you so much, Josh. It was an absolute pleasure to speak to you and learn about what you guys are building with Warrior Surf Foundation. I wish you absolutely nothing but the best of luck in your mission. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Audrina. Beyond grateful for this opportunity to share the word with you and to just be on your channel.
Thank you, Changemakers, for tuning in to Voices of Impact. You've just heard about another amazing cause, and it's time to turn that inspiration into action. Whether it's volunteering your time, donating to a cause, or simply sharing what you've learned, every action counts. Your involvement helps to build stronger communities and a better world. And for those of you who want to make an even bigger impact, we have a special opportunity. If you or your company would like to sponsor Voices of Impact, not only will you be supporting this platform, but a portion of your sponsorship will be donated each month to one of the incredible nonprofits that we've featured. Your support will help these organizations continue their vital work, extending their reach of their impact even further. Join us in making a difference. Visit at Voices of Impact by Audrina on Instagram to learn more about sponsorship opportunities, and together, let's continue to spark change. Until next time, Changemakers, let's keep the momentum going. Subscribe now and join the movement.